What's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have a vehicle that right now is pretty much mission impossible to find brand new on a Toyota dealership lot. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander. The big kicker that makes this hard to get is that this is not only a Grand Highlander, but it is an iForce Max Grand Highlander. But before we get into this mid-size 3-row crossover SUV with some pretty good MPGs, let's talk about what's going on here. So you heard correctly. You go to a Toyota dealership to find a hybrid version of the Grand Highlander. You better know somebody in the industry because it's basically a 6-month wait to order one and have it show up at the dealership. Now you may get lucky. Somebody orders one and then they can't get financing or they change their mind. But other than that, most of the Grand Highlanders that are brand new on dealership lots are the regular, just straight up internal combustion engine. Now with that being said, in this category of crossover SUV, there is a lot of competition when we go midsize. But I want to show you all the ins and outs of this Grand Highlander being the iForce Max and show you why it's the must-own one of 2025. Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, that beautiful ruby red color sparkles nicely in the sun. We got a little bit of bird poop. Just get that off of there. Don't worry about the bird poop. Up front, you got your LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps. Love the size and the overall shape. Now, because this particular one is a top trim, you do have some chrome finish, but I'm very happy to report it's not a ton. You basically have a chrome brow across the top of the nose, and then as we come down, you'll see we have LED fog lamps and a little bit of functionality with the corner air curtains, but very aggressively styled for a mid-size SUV. The big zonk, you know where I'm going, right? Follow my finger, where am I going? Boom. Why, oh why do we have this here? Fake vent on a mid-size crossover. That's a big no-no. Paint it red, paint it any other color, do something other than this. And then a little bit of this metallic silver on the bottom. Now, as we come across what's becoming a traditional Toyota SUV front end, you got the massive badge, Flavor Flav style. He could wear that around his neck instead of the clock. You do have a forward-facing camera, and I love the way that they went gunmetal metallic gray finish on that large mouth of a grille. And then along the bottom, that nice metallic silver with a little bit of flat black. But let me know what you think about the face of this Grand Highlander. It's actually grown on me, and wait until you see the interior. I think that's another area where it's a big standout. Now, as we rise up, you got a big bold hood, simple Toyota clean style. You just have this rise in the center, and then it kind of drops off on each corner. And as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. Now on this top trim, you are gonna get these polished aluminum accents with the flat gray multi-spoke wheel design. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 20-inch wheel. Tires are 255 on the width, 55 series sidewall, and we do have all-wheel drive. Now, it is front-wheel drive based, and then it does have an electric motor, not a drive shaft, an electric motor on that rear axle. The big zonk, you know where I'm going next, right? Why do we have flat black around the fender opening, especially on the top trim? Put that on the LE. Hell, put it on an XLE. Don't put it on a top trim. Come on, paint that. Now coming down the side, we do have painted mirror caps, your LED turn signals, 360-degree cameras. From the overall side of the vehicle, you could tell that they didn't just add a little bit of extra something on the end of a Highlander. This is not a Highlander L. This is a totally different chassis and body structure. It's wider, it's longer, it's a little bit taller than your regular Highlander. Now, Bright shiny metalwork only along the bottom. I'm okay with that because of the trim. And then I like the metallic silver on the roof, on the upper roof rails. And then you have those Toyota accessory crossbars. You could put your kayak holder up there, your mountain bike holder, or Steven's favorite, he just gets his cargo basket and he fits all of his camera gear up there. So nice to have that usable space on the roof. Coming towards the rear, good size on a quarter window. I like the way they end the bright shiny metalwork on a nice little fine point like a machete. And then coming around the back, you know where I'm going next, right? Zonk on this rear wiper, tuck it underneath that long roof spoiler. They do give you a big size on the third brake light. Painted roof spoiler. Did a great job on the lighting. All LED lighting, no light bulbs in there. Top trim, platinum Highlander name. I like the way it's color coded into the back with your Toyota badge. And then like I said, that Hybrid Max. This thing, it's really surprising just how hard it is to find one of these. And then as we come down to ground level, you do have your finished exhaust and your tow receiver all in the back. So you actually have a dual outlet exhaust, stainless steel tip, oval opening, slash cut. You got your towing capability, and then this little thing right here tells you that you could actually open the rear lift back. I'm glad I was trying to make it not open the rear lift back all hands free. So that's really nice to have that as well, especially when your hands are full. But why don't we go ahead, you got some flat black and some silver, let's go pop the hood and talk about MPGs of this midsize SUV. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod, which is surprising. I am gonna zonk that on a Grand Highlander, should have hood struts. Underneath the hood is that 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, but there's some good news at the end of the day. With the electric motors, the 2 electric motors, you're looking at 362 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque. And the best news is no CVT. This has a 6-speed automatic transmission, traditional torque converter automatic transmission. It uses a 1.4 kilowatt nickel metal hydride battery, 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. Top speed is governed to 117 miles an hour. You could tow up to 5,000 pounds. MPGs, 26 in the city, 27 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs 4,936 pounds. Now, if you compare this to a, say, Kia Telluride or a Honda Pilot, those with their V6s, which I know a lot of people like the V6s, those with the V6s, they get around 18, 19 miles of the gallon in the city. This is getting 26 in the city and 27 on the highway. That's quite a big jump, especially when you think about a year's worth of driving. But why don't we go ahead, why don't we fire this up and see this all-wheel drive Grand Highlander zip off. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander, that max setup with the hybrid technology, platinum trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much is this? Well, first of all, what you should know is that the Highlander's been around since 2001. This Grand Highlander is much, much newer, much younger. It came out model year 2024, and I think that's another reason why there's still a lot of people chomping at the bit that want one of these. Now, of course, there's different trims, and for 2025, they introduced a base LE trim, but this one being the platinum, with all the goodies, you're looking at an MSRP of $62,000. But let's see what you get when you go Grand Highlander Platinum to the door panels. Love the materials, and I'm actually digging the two-tone in here. You got soft touch up top. I like the way they did this nice kind of smoke triangular pattern on the black. So much better than gloss black or some other, fuddy-duddy trim. You do have that Milky Way chocolate brown, and I'm okay with that, that tan with the contrast stitching. No gloss black around the switchgear. Door pocket is a little on the tighter side, so maybe just keep it to some tacos from Chipotle and a nice bottle of Coca-Cola to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, you do have your JBL premium sound system, soft touch with the stitching. We have our official Toyota Baker's Dozen auxiliary Twinkie holder with a USB-C. And then as you slide on in, you got your 12.3-inch standard infotainment system, full touchscreen. Of course, it has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Very easy to navigate through. It's the same multimedia software that they've been using for years now, where you could set up different driver profiles and all those goodies. Real volume knob, which is nice, and then I like the way everything else is analog with real deal knobs and buttons. So you got your dual climate control, 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats. Working your way down. I like the way they did this sort of like bronze copper trim. You got your power on button because this is a hybrid. I almost forgot. We got to show the beautiful camera. So you got your 360-degree camera. You could scan that maybe when you're at the mall shopping parking lot and you're wondering if there's anybody creeping on you or trying to be weird. Got that nice 360. And then, of course, let me show you out back. Look at the nice resolution. Finally, Toyota has some nice resolution with the trajectory and the 360. So that's a nice touch. Working our way back down, you do have a USB-C, wireless charging, a place for 4 paydays, and then you got these large cup holders. You could put a Yeti can right here if you choose to do so. This guy right here, your electric shifter, is going to control your 6-speed torque converter, automatic transmission. I like the copper trim. 2 cup holders, like I said. On the side, you have an apple holder. You know how they say one bad apple spoils the bunch? Well, you could put your one good apple here and eat that later in the day. You got your different modes, snow mode, hill descent control, and then instead of having a conventional lifting center armrest, you just slide this back, and you have plenty of room in there. You could actually put, I would say, 8 balls. So when you're done playing with your balls, you can put your 8 baseballs in there. And hey, if you're into baseball and playing with your balls, that's cool. And I know you got them autographed by Ken Griffey Jr., Jose Canseco, Cal Ripken. And it's interesting because Jose Canseco, when he signs autographs now, he actually has a pen that looks like a syringe that he used to use when he injected steroids. So that's kind of crazy how he's, playing on that whole steroid thing. And then the seats, the nice soft text leather, the Alcantara microfiber suede material, electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver. I love the fact that there's a black headliner. Thank God. That's like the saving grace of this interior. And then on top of that, you get your power shade with your panoramic sunroof. Whoop. And you have your digital rear view mirror. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel in this Grand Highlander. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings. And down below, I like the way it's got the aluminum sill plate. It says Grand Highlander. You got your easy access electric seat controls. I'm 6 feet tall. I actually love the space in here. It's very, very well organized. Steering wheel, it's a mixed bag. I like the leather. I like the little bit of copper tone finish that they do here. This horn button, though, is the ugliest thing next to a Ford horn button. So zonk on the horn button. You do have paddles to go up and down the 6-speed automatic transmission, manual tilting and telescoping wheel, and you do have a heated steering wheel, which is nice. And then you got that beautiful 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. You could go into the different modes. Look at that. There's your Grand Highlander. Getting cool, going through the mud and sand. You're doing your snow mode. Gauges change. Everything else. A lot of great information in the display. Plus you have a HUD, a head-up display. But let's get into the mid-row and the third row and see how much room there is in this Grand Highlander. All right, guys. Mid-row time. And same thing. I feel like the Grand Highlander in so many ways is almost perfect. I do like the way they use the same material as the front seat passengers. It's close. I'm gonna give it half a zonk because it's almost there. I just need it to be a little bit wider on the captain's chair armrest. Large pockets. You could actually put 2 Cuban sandwiches here. And what's cool is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we're about 25 minutes away from downtown Tampa. That is the home of the Cuban sandwich. And yes, for it to be a real Cuban, you gotta have pickles on it. Duh. Now on the back of the command center, you have USB-Cs, you got a home power source, and you got heated and ventilated seats. Thank you, Toyota, for showing how it's done. You got your AC controls. Love the way they got the vents up top. Seat controls, they recline, which is nice. And they also slide. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. And then you have this nice little sort of center console area, 2 cup holders, a place for a, I would say I was gonna say Costco hot dog, but that's too small. That's a gas station hot dog. And then you got a place to put 2 big chocolate chip cookies. And what's nice is that this locks in, right? It locks in, but then you could easily take it out just by unclipping it right there and giving it to your kids to put their lunch in for school. You could do that. But let's go ahead. This is a larger mid-size SUV. Let's see how much space is in the 3rd row of this Grand Highlander. All right, guys, 3rd row time, and here's where it's interesting. So my knees are a little high, but if you notice, I have plenty of headroom, AC vents, USB-Cs, a nice little party tray here. You could get yourself some fish sticks, maybe some hush puppies from Long John Silver's and have them back here. But watch this, I'm not done yet. Reach over, and the seat actually leans back more. This is what the Grand Highlander brings when it comes to comfort. You can sit here with your tartar sauce, and I know Steven's a big fan of cocktail sauce. Eat your fish sticks, your hush puppies, and be chauffeured around. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the cargo area and see what kind of bait and tackle we could put back there in this Grand Highlander. All right, guys, time to open up the lift back of this Grand Highlander. And I know some of you are probably asking, what's the name of this really pretty color? It's called Ruby Flare Metallic. We're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Hit the button, nice electric assist. You're gonna be greeted to 28 cubic feet of space. Fold the seats down, it's just gonna grow from there. But before I do, let me show you. We got a home power source, nice for when you're at the beach, you're camping. JBL subwoofer from our sound system. And then to put the seats down, it's so easy. 60-40 split, you just lift up and then you push. Just like that. Come over to the other side. Lift. Watch the headrest. Drops. Now you got 58 cubic feet of space. Fold the mid-row down. That's gonna give you 98 cubic feet of space. That's like full-size SUV space in a mid-size. That's what Toyota does. And that's including having the nickel metal hydride battery on board. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. This SUV has more horsepower than your BRZ. Why don't we go on throttle and see how it drives? All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander. I'm gonna come to a stop real quick and we're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. So we're in sport mode. Good traction off the line. Just one thing to realize is that because the rear wheels are powered by an electric motor, there is a little bit of hesitation when it comes to sending the power to the rear wheels because it's an electric motor that turns on. So you will notice some sort of like delay in that all-wheel drive hitting the ground. Once it's activated, it's fine, but it takes a few seconds for it to be activated. What's nice about the Grand Highlander is that you have plenty of space. Getting to that 12.3-inch infotainment system is well within reach. Of course, we're gonna be rocking out to Michael Jackson, 80s on 8. Beautiful digital gauge cluster. I actually can show the power display with the hybrid power, and of course all the other information that you need or want. And you could change that by just moving the arrow on the steering wheel. And it's nice that all the switch gear is flat black. But going down the road, the Platinum trim has some really good sound deadening material. Because it is a hybrid, it does lower the center of gravity a little bit and makes it a better handling SUV compared to the straight up internal combustion engine Grand Highlander. The head-up display is a good size, and these seats are so comfortable. And the fact that, yes, you can get heated and ventilated for the third row. Really, really nice to see that. But just a great setup in this vehicle when it comes to all of those different things and the driving. Now, if you're wondering, am I distracted right now? Yes, Lori just passed me by in her Bronco. She's going to the grocery store while I'm doing this review, but watch how this thing handles. Look at this, on the brakes. Nice. Super composed. On throttle, here we go. Nice shifts from that 6-speed automatic. You're gonna get up and going very, very quickly. And it's just a really solid riding and driving vehicle. You got your full Toyota sensing technology, that 3.0++. Great visibility. And what I like about it is that it's not as large as, say, a Tahoe or a Yukon or a Ford Expedition. And the MPGs, like MC Hammer says, can't touch this. But a very, very comfortable, well-equipped vehicle that, like I said, the wait time for these, because there's none available brand new on dealership lots, I think you're gonna find it's worth the wait. I say if you want one, wait the 6 months or so and get yourself one, because it is well worth the wait. The one thing that's a little weird is when it comes to the drive mode selector knob, you only can select rock, mud, and sand. And you push the center to select normal. Then there's separate buttons for eco, sport, and snow. Don't know why they did it that way. That's really weird. Very bizarre. But other than that, everything else is well sorted in this interior and very well done. Especially the materials in this Platinum trim. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick overall review of this 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways with this Grand Highlander Platinum trim. Definitely gotta thank everybody at Toyota for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Is this Grand Highlander to you, especially being the hybrid, the must-own SUV of 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rice family. Gotta give it up to Stephen Flood. He's got a heart of gold, and boy, oh boy, is he the type of person that aims to please. So thank you, Stephen, for all your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.